Hey neighbors, the handyman here with Initiative Coffee Company. The Bill Allan here with Bill Allan World. Roll-up stats for 311 cockatrices. It's time to rise and roll.
Ooh, rise and roll. Brian, it's showtime, and we have a short amount of time to get through a lot of stuff.
Right.
Somehow, despite never planning, this show just always fills up with stuff. So we were contacted by a gentleman by the name of Ben, who is launching his first Kickstarter.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool benchmark.
Full disclosure, I think it's pretty cool. We're neither going to back it or not back it. We're just going to check it out and share it with everybody. But, and he also said straight up, he's like, I'll send you the demo stuff so you guys, get the full gist of it. And he's like, I don't expect, anything one way or the other. He's like, cool. we're just amped to have you guys talk about it on the show. So the Kickstarter is it's called Moglan's D&D 5e Augmented Reality Magic Item Cards. And if you're following along with us today on Twitch live, if you're one of the 428 people
using the home version here,
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play. Let me make sure I have everything muted here. Yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna play the video, and this is Ben talking about the deck. So let's watch.
Hi, my name is Ben Doran, and I'm a dungeon master, but I'm also the designer for Moglan's Many Magical Items, a deck of augmented reality magic item cards for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. Everyone loves loot and magic items in a role-playing game. But as a dungeon master, there's a lot of times that we'll let our players kill a gargantuan dragon or an evil lich at the end of a dungeon. And when your players get to those gleaming chests behind their corpse, you've forgotten to fill them with anything. I came into this problem more times than once. It always kind of broke the mood of the game. So I created 50 brand new magic items. Moglan's Half-Staff, the Sword of Shards, Blight, To Ash and From Dust, the Ironwood's Bat, and redesigned 10 of our classic items that we all know and love. On the front of every card, you have beautiful art from both of our illustrators. And on the back of every card, you have the stats right on the top. And on the bottom, you have a whole bunch of flavor text telling about where the item came from or why it's magical. So I pitched this idea to a couple of my friends at a company called Gate Reality. And we came up with the idea that you'll be able to take your phone, scan any one of the cards that you got dealt from the deck, and have that item pop up off of the table in augmented reality so that you can look around the item in the real world. You can really figure out why this item is so wonderful or what's so weird about it. As soon as you scan it, it will also save all of its stats, all of its information, and all of its flavor text right into your phone. So you always have the information on you at any time. There's no scribbling in the margin of your character sheet or trying to find a scrap sheet of paper. So I posted a few of these items on Reddit because I thought they were pretty neat. I don't want to belittle it. I thought it was brilliant. A lot of different people asked for decks of their own, and so we're asking for your support to help us get to a full print run and to finish off all of the augmented reality for this incredible project.
I really, as you know, I'm not a big user of the things. And by the things, I mean like decks, like spell cards, you know, and there are, Wizards puts out stuff.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of games that have additional accessories that you could use. But I saw this and I was like, it's kind of cool from the perspective of maybe you're a newbie DM and you want something to add a little extra flavor to your table. Sure. And these cards can give you more magic item options. Or you're a jaded old school DM who's like, got a group of players who've played D&D for forever and they're just kind of like and you want to bring a little new some cool artifacts, some cool items, and then the augmented reality thing is in there too. And I'm obviously a big fan of technology, but I ask you, is the AR thing a gimmick? Is it just, is it going to be the kind of thing where I'm like, and this is what you get, and then your player's like, boop, shape, and they're like, oh, cool, that's what it looks like. And then like 30
That's the
seconds
only time
later,
I
it
use
doesn't
it.
matter.
Yeah, I think this runs the risk because it's magic item cards of doing that, right? And even like the first thing like this to come out was monster cards, right? And those were
Yeah.
cool, but even at that point, like if you're using these monster card style things, my idea would be that you would want to use them for combat, right?
Right.
Now the problem with that is like your AR device isn't going to allow you to like position that monster specifically and then move it periodically.
Right.
And maybe that's just like pulling too many threads or caring too much about things that don't matter. I think like anytime we take a step forward in the hobby, it's cool. I don't know if cool things are necessarily important because they're cool. You know what I mean?
Well, and my other thing is whatever accessories, whether it's like, 2D stuff, 3D stuff, augmented reality stuff, in what way is it helping
Sure.
the game? So I think well-made art can help the game because it can help players to visualize and imagine stuff. Same thing with terrain and minis. But there's always that balance between, is this just more clutter on the table? Is it more like detracting or distracting from the imagination and the immersive environment?
I guess the benefit of a thing like this is that you can more effectively communicate the image a DM has in their head to the party. The problem is that the image you have in your head as a DM is now locked into what these cards are.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not cool. I think they're really cool. And I think this leans the same way that, like, the Beetle and Grimm stuff does, right? Like, it's neat, and it's a cool thing to add to the table, but it's not for everybody at the table, right? Like, it's for a specific level of gamer, and this to a lesser degree. But if we look through the pledge levels, we're looking at $45 for
the core set and both themed decks.
Yeah.
So let's take a jump, Dave, over to the laptop. So here are some sample graphics. You've got a card, you've got the description that gives you all the information that you need. And then this pledge level of 45 or more gets you a core set plus both themed decks. This shows off the augmented reality stuff there, so you can kind of see how on the table, or at least on your phone in augmented reality, you could see the objects. And this is just sample stuff. I don't know if the graphics will be better or not. Here's what the card sets look like.
Danny has a pretty good point here. It might be a good way to engage younger potential players.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Good. That is a
You know what?
fantastic
I
point.
didn't think about that, and that's really smart. Like, it does seem gimmicky, but it seems right up the alley of ways for kids to be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Right. If I'm the parent and I know my kid's into D&D and they have all the things already, this could be a great gift.
Or if you're a parent and you know your kid's into things that are similar to D&D and also tech, you can introduce this whole world of like creative thinking and narrative storytelling.
Right.
Yeah, there's a reason that like AR games are popular. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention that game because it's owned by a company that has not looked at their charitable donations well.
I will say this too, as we segue from the items themselves and the value to the business model. So this is Ben's first Kickstarter.
Sure.
The pledge, the goal is $26,000. They're at $3,058, so that's 12%, with only 15 days to go. My thought that I mentioned to you, before the show started was maybe that goal is too high.
Maybe. The problem is I don't know what all this... I don't know what the price point and cost for him is.
Right.
And all this stuff, right? Like, I don't know how much programming AR is. If he can do it himself, maybe it is too high. I don't know. Like, I don't have a frame of reference for, like, is $26,000 too much?
Well, let's put it this way. They have 15 days to go. If they brought in $1,000 each day, they would still be
$3,000 short of that.
eight grand short. So yeah, 15. They'd get them up to 18 grand, and their goal is 26. I just don't. I like it, Ben. I'm gonna tell you I like it, and I hope for you guys to hit your goal.
Well, yeah.
But I don't see mathematically how you're gonna make this drive happen.
I don't see a road to success.
And honestly, I don't know if it is the augmented reality that's driving the price up on their goal, Brian. To me, from a business perspective, I would have launched that as an unlock, as a bonus. You know what I mean?
I think
so that normal people could get your
like,
physical deck.
But I think that's the heart and soul of this product, right?
What makes it different from
the
other
AR
decks?
is what makes this different than any other list of magic items, right? I mean, these are cool items, but like people make their own like I don't use many like pre-made magic items at my table.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the AR thing is the cool thing, and I think that the monster decks had success.
Yeah.
And I don't know like anything about how those were produced or like the cost associated with them.
Right.
So I don't have a frame of reference for like if this is in line with that Kickstarter, if that was Kickstarted or what.
I mean, he has reward options here where he has a leather deck box and then he's got leather tome case, which I think are beautiful. And it makes sense that those are extra rewards that people can tack on. But I wonder if maybe the augmented reality option should have been a reward as well, so that it brings his overall goal down to come up with the physical deck, and then the augmented reality part, you know, is covered through app purchase or something.
You know, the problem is like that you have to pay for that programming regardless, right? Because the app takes a photo of the card and recognizes the card, which means that the app the card has to be programmed. Right, so he's got to pay for that AR regardless of whether or not he puts it on the Kickstarter or not. So, like, it might not be cost effective for him.
Yeah, I don't know all the variables.
To do that, right?
Right, absolutely.
Like, it might have to be, like, the push might have to be the AR stuff.
Yeah. Just
to cover the costs of programming the cards. Like I said, I think it's cool. I think the price point is a little inaccessible for me. Only because I don't use pre-made magic items, right? Like if I use pre-made magic items, I'd be a lot more inclined to do this. But I just don't, you know? So
that's one of the Kickstarters. And, you know, again, Ben, we wish you the best of luck.
And maybe we're wrong. You know, like it's tough, like, to make a guess based off of, like, demo work, basically, you know? But yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
If you guys think it's cool, throw the kids some money. I don't know. Like,
yeah. It's the thing with Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. So, you know,
true.
If he doesn't hit the goal, nobody's getting this stuff unless he, you know, does a relaunch somewhere down the line. I don't know how all that works. Brian, the second, our second Kickstarter exploration of the day is Dungeon Crate Questickers. I'm going to paste the link in there.
Dungeon Crate Questickers.
I was like, is it Quest Tickers or is it Questickers? It's stickers.
Oh.
Okay, so let's tune into the video, shall we, Dave?
From the Lords of Adventure and War Games and Dungeon Crate comes Questickers, the new removable peel-and-stick RPG and tabletop game tokens. Questickers are made with a thin plastic sheeting and include full-color graphics on one side and a micro-suction back on the other. This magical material lets you place the tokens on a wide variety of surfaces such as map tiles, battle mats, tables, laminated handouts, and more. Included stands and bases let you quickly and easily create a rich setting for your adventures. The Questickers starter pack for Kickstarter includes 2 8.5 by 11-inch Questicker sheets, 2 double-sided map pages, 10 clear acrylic round bases, 5 clear acrylic character stands, 2 Questicker pickers, and 1 instruction page. Questickers look great on the table no matter what you use for terrain or miniatures. They're easy to use, portable, and simple to store when not in use. Your Questickers include characters, terrain, dungeon dressings, traps, pits, magic items, weapons, potions, chests, doorways, walls, and more! If your Questickers start to lose their adhesion, simply use a touch of dish soap and water to clean and let air dry. The magic in your Questickers will be renewed for yet another adventure. So support our Kickstarter campaign today. Thanks a lot from the Lords of Adventure and War Games and Dungeon Crate.
So Brian.
Yeah.
You know Wayne.
I do.
know
He's
Wayne
a cool guy.
over at Dungeon Crate, and now they're this is also a first. Despite their Dungeon Crate, they're actually a first timer on Kickstarter with this. Their goal is 2,000. They're already at the halfway point. They're at 1,023. They have 10 days to go. Let's take a look at the pledge levels. So the starter pack's $20. You get 2 of the 8.5 by 11 sheets of Questickers, 2 of the double-sided map pages, 10 clear acrylic round bases, 5 clear acrylic player stands, 1 instruction page, and 2 quest sticker pickers. The guitar picks, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I'm sure that they're subtly different, and there's some sort of pending patent, and you couldn't just apply them with any 2 guitar picks.
That's right, probably.
Yeah, you probably really need the ones from them.
Yes, I would agree. So here are some pictures where they show some sample rooms. What I like about this, Brian, is that if you were, let's say that you didn't have anything. Let's say you didn't have a big Chessex map or a Frontline gaming mat or any 3D terrain, and you were just getting into the hobby. I think this would be a fantastic buy-in.
Okay.
I absolutely think it would be a fantastic buy-in for any new group.
Sure.
Pool your money, do the party pack for $100. You get 6 times the amount of stuff, right? So if you bought them individually, $20 each. You go in for 100, you get 1 for free. So, and that's 12 of those sheets. That's a whole dungeon. That's an entire table. Now, you don't have to do that, right? You could set up encounters where it's one room after another, and then you peel the stickers off the previous room that they're not going back into and lay out the next one. But what I'm thinking from a DM perspective is if you did the big party pack, you could preset all your rooms, and they're flat. So it's not like Dwarven Forge where you got to build it and have like a blanket on top of it, right? You could have all this stuff laid out, and then you just put it on the table. And now your little terrain and what's in the room and where doors are and all that stuff is all preset. I think it's genius, to be honest.
Okay.
Now in the crafting community, you got people like Wylock who have been using minis that are 2D, where he prints out his own graphics and puts them on a stand and that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan of 2D, but that's because I have so much 3D miniatures. So, but from a basic get your game going kind of for a group, I think this is a great deal. What are your thoughts?
I think it's neat. The icons remind me a lot of like the
Video
Roll20
games
stuff.
Yeah. They look very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Which I again at that price point, I don't know what you can expect.
Sure. I think there's a missed opportunity here. I think this would be, if there were like spell effects here, I'd be all over it. Especially spell effects that had hollow centers that you could like put around miniatures. That's the issue with all the acrylic spell effects, is like you have to like move your minis to put the spell down so you can put, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So the fact that like these are cling stickers really lends itself to having like hollow centers where you could just cut it out and then that's that. I think they're cool. I don't know. Go back. Let me see them again.
So, I mean, to me, there's 2 things. The price point. For $20, you can get a basic set.
If you end up not liking them, it's $20.
Right.
And
if you go all in, you're getting a great deal. And I can envision them launching Questickers too, and doing, responding to the community in terms of like what people want, and adding more monsters and adding spell effects, adding more terrain. It only makes sense that they would do that.
And it looks like they'll stick to any like laminated or plasticky surface.
Right.
So if you bought the new Wizards of the Coast like folding map,
it says
stick to that.
Double-sided map tiles compatible with wet erase, featuring a dungeon floor on one side and an outdoor environment on the other.
Okay. So
I imagine with, they don't have hallway pieces per se, but who's to say that you couldn't?
Well, they've got wall pieces.
Right.
Though,
they've got, there's a lot of different ways to use it. So it would seem to me like...
I'm a lot less interested. So in the photo, like those dungeon tiles, I don't have any interest in. Because it's a very, like, prefabbed dungeon that's not very conducive to larger parties.
Right.
But the ones in, like, the the listing of the stuff they give you, the more open dungeons is better for me. And then the outdoor tiles are cool. I like these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm probably not gonna like get my wallet out. But they're cool. There's probably more use for these than the last Kickstarter. I don't want to like compare like one Kickstarter to another in terms of utility, but
yeah,
I mean we effectively did by putting them both on the same show.
Yeah, very different things, but
Yeah.
you know, one's cards and AR, and this one's
The price point
stickers.
is nice because
I think the goal is very
is
reasonable. I think it's achievable.
I know Wayne's got a pretty good following anyway with
Yeah.
his Dungeon Crate stuff. I could see this being a Kickstarter to lead into him doing lines of these for Dungeon Crate.
Absolutely.
It'd be a smart way to like.
Or
go
maybe
about
the
it.
add-ons for this. Maybe this is the core, and then the updates of Questickers are via Dungeon Crate, or
It
you
could
know,
be.
that could be a component, or just available through his store. So,
Yeah.
All right, one more thing that's not Kickstarter, Brian, and that is Wizards of the Coast. Since the launch of D&D 5e, has had Dragon Plus.
Yeah,
I'm an old Dragon magazine
Sure.
fan.
We haven't talked about this, I don't think at all.
No, but when they first launched Dragon Plus, I got the app on my phone, and I would download the most recent issue, and I'd read through it. And it was cool. It did two things. Number one, it eased the burden on my heart of not having the physical Dragon magazine anymore.
Right.
And it also gave me access to what was going on behind the scenes and Wizards' thoughts on the errata. And,
Sure.
you know, so what's your experience with it? And number one. Number two, do you think it's an asset or a resource that players should, you know, actively engage in? Or do you feel like it's more of like something that only the DM in your group should be reading?
Oh, no.
Like, what's your thought on that?
So the biggest use that I had for Dragon Plus was it was where they released all the unearthed kind of stuff. And so Dragon Plus gave you like the original source for, still does presumably, for all the UA stuff. And that's mostly like one of my biggest critiques and complaints about the unearthed arcana stuff is it's all player driven and there's no DM resources in it. So I would say that like players could definitely benefit from Dragon Plus. There's a lot of interesting kind of like, it's also a trade magazine, right? So they're talking about what products they're putting out soon. It's also a behind the scenes magazine. It tells you like, gives you like cool stories about the last product that's come out.
About artists, about some of the things that writers are working on.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. No, I think it's worth I think it's worth reading, and like some of this, like it's just like any other magazine. Like you're gonna page through it, and some of the stuff is gonna be useless to you, and some of it's gonna be really cool, and you're gonna want to know more. You know.
Do you feel like this is maybe more useful to DMs than players, or do you think everybody's got some there's some content in it for everyone?
Oh, I think there's definitely content in it for everyone. I think there's probably more content in it for players, to be honest, or just enthusiasts of the hobby, right? Like there's a lot of material coming out regularly that people want to know about, and so I think that the Dragon Plus magazine is really effective at doing that. It's good about talking about the upcoming releases. My guess is like, I'm surprised they don't use it more often as like to leak announcements. I guess it's not a leak if it's from official documentation, but I'm surprised that they don't use it more often to talk about like new information, right? So when they announced that like one of the 2019 books was going to be a campaign setting, right? I was surprised that didn't show up in Dragon Plus first,
right?
But I think largely it's as valuable as Dragon Magazine was, right? I mean, I don't have 30 years of annals of Dragon Magazine.
Well, I think the biggest difference is that Dragon Plus
shorter.
focuses on Wizards of the Coast, and Dragon
versus
Magazine
the whole industry
tended to be kind of more broad across the industry. Although, to be fair, it was originally a TSR thing, and they did a lot more TSR content than they did for other companies. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that,
It's nice there's a phone app and a tablet app for it, so it's not super.
right.
You don't have to go online for. Well, you don't have to go to their website for it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very functional. It's very user friendly. I actually downloaded on a long flight. I downloaded a few issues and had that as kind of nice
Some
reading
material. Sure.
Here's something just ironically in the most recent issue.
Using
magic cards
as
as D&D items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see. My guess is you'll see a lot of blending of this stuff. I expect that Ravnica is doing well.
Yeah.
Right. And because Ravnica is doing well, I expect that they'll try to blend more MTG branding in with D&D.
Yeah.
For the sake of expanding their audience. And I think that's probably a smart idea. It's good for that. It's good for the company as a whole. It's good for the hobby as a whole. And so, yeah, we were actually talking the other day, and I was thinking that one of the other MTG settings might be the campaign setting that they have not fully announced, but slightly announced.
Right.
If Ravnica does well. Apparently, they also just put out a huge Dern miniature boat for $261.
Wow.
So, some talk around the table last night or Saturday night was that they'd be surprised if there wasn't a setting that was dependent on high seas. But I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, a whole new setting wouldn't require high seas, and you don't need high sea. You don't need a whole new setting for it. You could just do any of the not Sword Coast stuff.
Anything other than Dark Sun, because there's no water.
Well, yeah.
Or is
but
that
you could
one
do
of those?
Faerun, you know what I mean?
Is it a
ship
plain
like that? You could do. It could be Spelljammers.
Spelljammers, yeah.
Because Spelljammers is literally sailing ships in space.
Yep.
But you don't necessarily need to do a new setting because Faerun has a lot of water that's largely ignored. So,
yes.
I don't know.
Good to know.
Yeah, there's a big boat that's
Yeah,
out for a lot of money, and it looks neat.
Yes, indeed. All right, so Brian, today's episode
Yep.
has been very well attended by Darren, welcome, and also by Odis, Danny. But it is time now for Monster Monday!
While you get out the books for Monster Monday, I would like to point out that Bard's Tale Season 3 is now up. The pilot of Bard's Tale, the premiere of Bard's Tale Season 3 is up.
Yes.
And we're in the heat of it. So if you are
And not only the heat of it, it's taken on a new format, Brian.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a little bit more narrative breaks, almost like chapter breaks.
Sure. I mean, it will be as of Friday.
Right.
The first episode of the season was not, but
so there's a whole bunch of intrigue going on in season 3 of the Bard's Tale. So if you're not already
we have new theme music from Phil Regal.
Yeah.
We have a new title card from Tyler Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah, check it out.
So many good things. All right, so time to talk about a monster.
Back to the classics.
Back to the classics. We're back to the Monster Manual.
Tell me when.
Stop. Oh, good Lord. Minotaur or Mind Flayer? Brian, I'll let you pick. You can take the first pick. I'm not really good with either one of them, so I might have to draw from the collective history of Dungeons and Dragons to try to come up with a good.
I might go with Minotaur.
Okay.
But I need a minute.
Okay, you can think about that. I'm going to think about the Mind Flayer. Okay. Most people think of the Mind Flayer as a member of the Illithid race who dwell deep, deep in the Underdark. And while this is true that there are colonies there who have gone there after eons to, believe it or not, find safer areas to live other than the surface, there is actually a hidden colony of Mind Flayers far to the south of Faerun, in between the jungles of Chult and the magical land of Halrua. There is a colony of Mind Flayers who have dwelled on the surface for thousands of years, unknown by their neighbors, until very recently a seismic tremor of enormous proportions clove a mountain range in half and opened up a entrance to this hidden valley where these Illithids have lived peacefully. And now they are in a position where they must defend their hidden place that they've been living peacefully for thousands of years from other races who are exploring this newfound region and want to tap into its amazing resources. One of which includes veins of a very peculiar metal that has not been seen in Faerun in eons, in millennia. That when the mountain opened up, it exposed these veins of this metal, which now is attracting people of all sorts who want to mine it and take it and use it as a resource to become wealthy. And yet the Illithids have claimed this place for a long time. And now this has created a major conflict. There we go.
I dig it. I dig it because you turn the bad guys into the good guys.
I try.
I like that. Minotaur. I think when you think of Minotaurs, you think of labyrinths.
Yes.
But I don't like the notion of just
those
like,
poor big guys stuck in a labyrinth.
I mean, I just don't like the notion of just like buying into the same
mythology.
I'm
with you.
I mean, I don't mind using that mythology though. Right. So I think that the Minotaur is charged with filling the labyrinth. Right. So he goes around and collects almost a menagerie.
Oh, like an
things.
Overseer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he like has some sort of item that allows him to teleport in and out of the labyrinth.
Okay.
And he like brings things in, right? So monsters and adventurers or whatever.
So like he's got a helm of teleportation. He could use that to bring things in. And but what is he? Who's charging him with this task, number one, and what is he guarding? What are all these things?
Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe it's some ancient thing that he just kind of was thrown into. Maybe he's the 30th in a long line of Minotaurs that just know that
the
they're
reason
supposed
is
to
forgotten.
do this thing.
Yeah. I like that.
That's where I'm going with
a lot
Minotaurs.
of potential for mystery.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm phoning it in this week, but
okay, no,
that's what I got.
I like it. That's good. Yeah. Sometimes the setup,
it's like half an idea.
Leaving the setup open leads itself towards the players putting more into it. So that's good. That's good. All right. So that's all for today's episode, people. Mainly a shorter episode because I have to go to my kids' parent-teacher conference.
Because you're one half of parent-teacher conference.
But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you're one of the people who check us out here on Twitch and you join in the show, always, always, always leave us comments or questions so we can address them in the next episode.
If you're catching us on YouTube, you can do it there also.
And press that subscribe button. Find the little bell icon for Initiative Coffee Company's YouTube page and click on it so that you know when we drop these episodes on YouTube. There's usually about a 1-day delay, not because this Twitch channel is affiliated in any way, but just in a forward-thinking sort of, respect.
Also, you can find out about shows like the Bard's Tale.
That's right.
Whatever else we.
And while you're enjoying the holidays this week, go ahead and binge watch the Bard's Tale.
We give you permission.
Yes.
3 seasons. 2 seasons.
I think it tastes good with turkey, actually, Brian.
Last year we had a Friendsgiving, and we just watched 4 episodes of Bard's Tale.
While eating turkey.
Yeah. Because that's the kind of person I am. I make my friends watch me on YouTube.
I couldn't agree more.
I'd rather watch me on YouTube than the YouTube spiral of doom.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. So Have a great holiday. We won't be back until next Monday, which is when we'll be back. So
which is when we would be back.
Yeah, so
anyway.
basically we'll be back. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Hey neighbors, thanks for watching our video. Make sure you check out our other videos here and here. Make sure you subscribe down there and get the notifications from the bell up there. See you next time.